Sisters, I'm going to talk about y'all just for a second. Just for a second. I ain't going to be on y'all too long. Y'all know what favorite women's scripture I'm going to go to. There's a reason behind it. It's not to get on a woman. We love our sisters. We do. We do.
They ought to love this medicine.
Right. This is medicine. I'm going to show y'all prophecy. Before I show y'all prophecy, I want to show y'all image. Based on what Deacon Yawis have said about how image is very important. Okay? Abiel, get me the article. Flip through. Let me look. I forgot the name of it. I want with the mother and daughter. Okay, right here. This video is called Black Women Need to Stop Perming Their Hair and Go Natural. Now, I want to show y'all something. Now, we talked about image. We're going to look at the whole video, and I want y'all to listen to what the reporter says at the end. Listen good.
Haven't noticed by now, you probably will soon. A new trend in the way Black women are styling their hair.
But it's not just about a new look. In a story you'll see only on 5, News Channel 5's Rochelle Ritchie shows us it's a way of redefining years of beauty and having a healthier lifestyle by going au naturel.
It's a $9 billion industry. From hair relaxers to extensions and now the popular lace front wig, Black women are the biggest target for hair companies, known to spend large amounts of cash on their hair, no matter how much the economy flips.
A stylist I used to go to, he said, I am not worried at all because Black women always will spend money on their hair.
Hair relaxers promise to take the kink of black hair and make it bone straight. And whether they are glued in or sewn in, hair extensions or weave give Black women the shine and length they want, while wigs make it easier to do all three in less than 5 minutes.
From an Afro-American woman who lost from a chemical burn from a hair relaxant.
Dr. Larry Shapiro, a dermatologist in Delray Beach, has also been doing hair transplants for more than 20 years. He says all this manipulation Black women do to their hair is causing it to fall out.
It's going to pull your hair out, and you're going to have permanent hair loss. I see it all the time in my practice.
Most Black women know the unpublished rules to follow before getting a relaxer.
There's a lot of rules.
And what happens when you scratch?
It burns. You burn. You can get scabs in your head. It's like you want to wash it out right away. Like, it can be extreme. Like, some people cry.
And traction alopecia can be a result of braiding and wearing extensions for a long period of time, causing the hairline to eventually disappear. But despite the harmful health effects, those images of straight, long hair have taken a toll on young Black girls like 6-year-old Gianna Louisma.
This is my tennis ball.
Gianna is all smiles while playing at home, but her mother Johanna says it's a different story when she goes to school.
She would voice to me that her friends would say bad things about her hair.
Johanna says because young Black girls like her daughter have been conditioned to believe beauty is having long, straight hair, they develop insecurities as youngsters.
She wanted that straight, flowy hair. She wanted hair like her friends, and then she also mentioned that she wanted hair like mine.
Johanna says she's been getting her hair relaxed for over 10 years, but never thought her hair habits would affect her daughter so deeply.
And I try to reassure her that her hair was beautiful, first and foremost, and that she had hair like her mommy and daddy.
But it was obvious Gianna's hair was not like her mother's. After seeing her first grader being teased on the playground and watching her insecurity build, Johanna decided to take a big step.
One day after school, I picked her up, went to the barber, and chopped it off. And she was there to witness it, and she loved it. She was like, oh my gosh, Mommy, you look so beautiful. You have hair like me.
And this is where the story hits home for me. When I started in TV, I was told I needed to get extensions. So I did and began to almost immediately move up the TV ladder. And for 6 years, I faithfully wore extensions and wigs. But like these women, I was tired of the damage being done to my real hair. It grew, but was weak from all of the pulling of the extensions, and I began to lose it. So after years of manipulation, I took the brave step of going natural.
I can't believe I'm gonna cut my hair off. Oh my God. How much are we gonna have to cut?
But I did it, and it's a big change for the women who take this path. Abigail Watson says while she feared the stereotypes of going natural, she let go and also made the drastic change.
I'm seeing myself for the first time ever in my life.
I really don't care about what people think. Get used to it, because this is how it's going to be from now on.
Since cutting off her hair, Johanna says her daughter has a new sense of pride in watching mommy's hair grow like hers.
I did it for my daughter. It makes me feel good inside.
I love my natural hair. It's like my mom's, and it's beautiful.
So here it is, a natural me, happy and free, and this is how you will see me reporting from now on. I can tell you, I feel so great right now. I feel lighter.
Let me tell you, you look great,
You look
Michelle.
great.
You
Thank
look beautiful. You have a beautiful
Thank you.
face, and you see your whole face now, and I think you look fantastic.
Thank you. Thank
Took
you
a couple
very
of
much.
years off you, too. It looks
Not that she had many to take off. Yeah, exactly. Don't you just
I do,
feel
and you know, one of the big concerns that the women in this story had was looking professional, and that was my biggest concern when doing this story. But I feel just as professional, intelligent, as articulate. Look, I can't even talk now. As I did when I had the extensions and the wigs.
Boy, that's a big step. Nervous about it when you decided to do it?
Yes, I did, but Kelly definitely supported me, and Jim, you supported me as well, so I'm very thankful for
Love the outcome.
I do too.
I think you look absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good for you. A lot easier, a lot less expensive, and a lot less time.
Exactly, and I get to keep my hair.
That's right. Exactly.
Thanks, Rochelle.
Thanks, Rochelle.
Now, what was heavy about that is that she had to get the support of her white constituents or the white bosses before she made that. So that's why she said that at the end. Now, we ain't done yet. Just bear with me. I'm building up to something. You know I like to build up to things. Now, get me the next, this one right here. She did this article. A sister emailed me this video. And it's called Why I Stopped Perming My Hair. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but I want y'all to listen. She used to be a policewoman. And watch what she says. Just listen good. Wait. It's going to help you brothers to understand why some of you have crazy wives at home who seem schizophrenic. Watch what she says.
Praise, love, peace, health, happiness, and prosperity. I'm Dr. Akila, and today I want to do a video. It's so long overdue. I've been meaning to do this video for the last 2 years. And this video is about why I stopped perming my hair. You know, I really don't give my hair much thought when I do my health videos, like on Healing Power Hour, which is my most popular YouTube channel. I never talk about my hair, and I only do 2 styles. You'll see it down like this or in a little tiny ponytail. That's all I got. But I hear a lot of women compliment me on my hair. And I think the reason I don't give it a second thought is because, you know, I've had locks for a very, very long time. I stopped perming my hair in 1996, and I thought it would be very interesting to share my story with you all of how I got to this phase right now where I decided to just go and just lock it up and keep it like this for the rest of my life. I have no intention to keep my hair short. I like it long, but when it gets past my hips, I always cut 10 inches off and start over. So probably since for a very long time, I think I did a 10-inch chop. Even if it's 10 inches cut off, it's cut off to right here. So it's still long, and it's not that noticeable when I cut it. But, you know, my experience is different than any woman's experience because, well, I lived a different life. For those of you who are part of my channel here, Doc Akila 2, you know that I used to be a police officer, and during the time I was a police officer, I had a perm. Loved my perm, didn't think nothing about it, didn't know what I know now. When I was on this police force, I was on the graveyard shift, and I was the youngest on the team, and the youngest officer on the team was always given the crappy duties. Like, we were always given the traffic accidents, which required a lot of paperwork. We were always guarding the crime scenes. And another duty we're given is to watch over autopsies. Now, there was a murder in the city, and I had to watch over the autopsy, which I think is stupid because, you know, we're not not medical professionals, and so if the mortician or whoever the guy that deals with the dead body who's doing the autopsy, if he does something shady, we don't know. We don't know. And that, not only that, we can't even stomach an autopsy, so we're really outside doing something, and they are okay with it, because what we have to do is sign the paper saying we witnessed the autopsy, but 9 times out of 10 we ain't watched that stuff. I mean, come on, we don't have the stomach for it. So anyway, there was a woman who was on the table. Now I don't really want to get too gory with you guys, but all of the dead bodies and the autopsies and all of that is down in the basement. And you would think they just have this little small room with a few bodies. They have rooms and rooms and rooms of bodies. It was just mind-blowing. Like, you see, like, a lot of dead bodies with white paper covering, with white sheets, not white sheets, white plastic wraps covering over them, and they got the toe tags on them. It's very cold in those rooms, so, you know, have my coat on. So I didn't want to be there. Plus it has that smell. And this smell reminds me about when we used to dissect frogs, those of you who are from the old school. That same smell that the embalmed, or maybe it was the formaldehyde, but it was that same smell downstairs. And anyway, the mortician or whoever the doctor guy, I think it's the doctor, I don't think he's a mortician, he would tell me, listen, to get your mind off of it, why don't you just, instead of looking at the bodies as if they were something that used to be alive, why don't you pretend to be a doctor and see if you can figure out how each person died. Well, there were a few bodies there who they had the crown of their heads sawed off. It was like a cap. It was like they had it cut off, and then you just see the brain. Some of them had the brain on the outside on the table. Sorry if I'm getting gory with this. I'm going to try not to be too gory, okay? Well, with this one particular black woman, she had like a lot of dark patches, spots in her brain right in here. And to me it looked like someone did a blunt trauma, a blunt force. They hit her with a blunt object against her head. So I said, this woman must have been beaten to death. And so the doctor guy comes over and he looks at the body, he looks at the head, and he goes, no. He says, you talking about those black markings? And he's like, yeah. I said, well, he said, why do you say that? And I said, well, you can also see where it looks spongy. You know how a sponge looks like something was eating away at her brain too. And so I thought that the blunt object like cracked her brain and some of the blood come out. I don't know what the reasoning is, but where these black marks, these dark marks were, there was a little spongy texture in that area. Looks like something was eating slowly away at that part of the brain. And he looked at me nonchalantly and said, no, this is common for black women to have these markings in your head. Now, of course, I'm looking at him like, what are you talking about, black woman? Is this racist thing? What are you doing? What are you talking about? And he looked at me like, he says, the chemicals that you put in your hair, this is what happens to your brain. Now, I am standing there like shocked because I am one of the people who was doing that to her head. And I'm saying, no, perms don't do that to your hair. It can't be that. It has to be dye, or it has to be, you know, hereditary. And so you know what he does? He goes in, he looks at a clipboard, and he goes into these silver refrigerators. It's the only thing I can, or coolers, and he pulls out 2 more bodies. One body is a woman who also has perm hair. Apparently she's a Jane Doe because no one can find out who she is. She's been there for several weeks, TMI, I know. Then they put out another sister, and she has natural hair, okay? As a matter of fact, she had a short bush. So, long story short, because I don't want to get gory, he opens the brain, he opens the cranial of both women, and therefore shows me the brains of both. The woman who did not have a perm, who just had that, it looked like a little small fade, nothing was different with her brain. It was nothing. It was just like a gray matter, just regular brain. The woman who had permed her hair, she had similar, not as much as the other female, the first female I saw, but she did have discolorization, and ironically, differently between the other woman, she still had that little spongy corrosion in her brain area, but it wasn't dark like the other female. And so when he starts showing me, you know, okay, this is common, this type of colorization is usually all up here. And then when I think about it, this is the area we always want to touch up the most. We kind of like keep that kitchen not so much. But then again, I couldn't really, the brain is not, it's more pronounced here than it is back here. So of course you will see a lot of discolorization and a lot of the corrosion in this area of the brain than any other part of the brain. So when he showed me all this, I freaked out. I freaked out because I'm thinking, oh my God, this could be happening to my brain. I have been wearing perms since I was 10 or 11 or 12 years old. And this was in 1995 or maybe 1996. I'm not too sure.
That was it. So, we went through all that to show. Now, y'all don't think that stuff affects the thinking process of these women? Y'all be saying, why she act some of your wives so crazy? Now you know why. When that chemical gets in that brain, I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Who are you? Alzheimer's, all that affects from that. And they don't realize it. Give me Isaiah 3. Give me Isaiah 3. I'm just going to get to the point. This is talking about the daughters of Zion. Y'all know this. We all know it. But we just want to read it. Isaiah 3:17.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 17. Therefore, the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts.
Now jump down to verse 24.
And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink.
Go ahead.
And instead of a girdle, a rent.
Here it come.
And instead of well-set hair, baldness.
Because for all women, go to 1 Corinthians now. 1 Corinthians, what chapter is that, 11? This is why women spend so much time on their hair. They are under the plagues of God. For when you read that chapter, it talks about wantonness. What other words are used? Haughtiness. 1 Corinthians 11, what verse? Give me the hair verse. 1 Corinthians 11.
Verse 5.
Go ahead.
But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. For that is even all as one if she was shaven. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man.
So when we read in verse 4, 5, and 6, where Paul said, if a woman be not covered, let her be shorn, meaning let her hair be shorn off. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. I want y'all to look at that in conjunction with Isaiah 3:16. Read Isaiah 3:16 now. Now, Paul's giving the instructions to the women here in 1 Corinthians that to cover your head, correct? Now, there was a problem. Read Isaiah 3:16.
Isaiah 3:16. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty.
They're haughty, meaning mean-spirited. When you read Isaiah 3:16 now, and then you match it with 1 Corinthians 11, you'll see that a problem developed with the women, with the daughters of Zion, in terms of rebellion. Read.
And walk with stretched forth necks.
In everybody's business. Go ahead.
And wanton eyes.
Lustful eyes.
Walking and mincing as they go.
Was that it?
And making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore, the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion.
So God told you, because the woman is rebellious, will not listen, I'm going to smite her in her hair. So now you want to know why? Why? The woman is always in her hair, she wanted to be a certain way. Go back to 1 Corinthians now, chapter 11, verse 15.
1 Corinthians 11, verse 15. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is giving her for a covering. But if any man seem to be contentious, we have no such customs, neither the churches of God.
That part's talking about the men. So now that verse 15 is letting you know, a woman's hair is her glory. That's why she's always in it. Had they obeyed, she would have had that. But when you read Isaiah 3:16, you can clearly see she was rebellious and out of order. So the Most High said, all right, shapow! Now they're like, oh, shoot, my hair. That's why they always hate that light-skinned sister with the long hair. Look at her. She thinks she cute. Now, we're going to beat her up after school. I don't know, but I grew up with that. I'll be sitting with sisters, women be around, so pretty one come in, they're going to beat her up after school. Uh-oh. So the brothers tell the sisters, listen, you just come wrap your hair up so that they don't see it. They envious and jealous and hateful. So now.
Can I say something, Bishop?
Go ahead.
So what the bishop just brought out in 1 Corinthians 11 and 15, I'm going to read it again.
But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering.
So the hair is given the woman for a covering. So back what the bishop was bringing out in Isaiah about the Most High taking it away from her. He took it away because of their rebelliousness. Now watch this. Let's go to 1 Peter 3.
1 Peter 3 and verse 3. Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold and of putting on of apparel.
So it's talking about the woman. Don't let the outward adorning be what shows you who you are, because that's what they did. The plaiting of hair doesn't mean sisters can't braid your hair, put in earrings. What it's saying is don't allow the outside of you to be who you are. Read on.
But let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit.
So it says, let it be the hidden man of the heart, meaning what's supposed to be adorned is your mind with God's commandments. It said, let it be the hidden man of the heart in that which is not corruptible, because you get old. You women will get old. You will not be the same way you were when you were 20 years old. So what needs to be adorned is your mind adorned with God's laws. Now read on. Now I want you to read verse 4 again.
Verse 4. But let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even an ornament of a meek and quiet spirit.
So for the Israelite woman, what she has to be adorned with is God's laws and a meek and quiet spirit. Because the woman we read back in Isaiah 3, she was haughty, she was rebellious, she thought she was pretty, and she thought that's all it was. And God said, no, I'm going to snatch that hair off your head to break you. And he had to come back in the New Testament and reaffirm it that that's not what it's all about. Read on. A meek and quiet spirit,
which is in the sight of God of great price.
So what's more important to God? A woman with a meek and quiet spirit. That's the great price. Not how pretty you are. But most men stumble at the beauty of women, or some men stumble at the beauty of women. God said no. A great price to him is when he see a woman has a meek and quiet spirit. And that's what that sister in Isaiah 3 lacked. She did not have a meek and quiet spirit. Read on.
For after this manner, in the old time, the holy women also, who trusted in God, adorned themselves.
Stop. So it showed us, he's giving them the example of look of our foremothers. Look back at the examples that we had. What did the holy women adorn themselves with? A meek and quiet spirit. Read on.
Being in subjection unto their own husbands.
Being in subjection to their husbands. So in some cases you'll find wives, and we know, I was talking to one of the brothers earlier today about it, is that your woman would be mad at you, and you would know. She may not say anything, she may not argue with you, but you can tell her spirit is not meek and quiet. She cannot. Women suffer with falling subjection. The Israelite women in many cases have a problem with falling in subjection to their husband in everything. In everything. And it was written back then because it was a problem back then also. This is how we break that vicious cycle and fix the black family, or the Israelite family. So I'll read that verse again.
For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also, who trusted in God, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands.
Read on. That's that prideful woman who had a problem. Read on.
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord.
So here we go. He gave us an example. He gave the women example. Look at the example of our foremother Sarah. Read on.
Whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well, and are not afraid with any amazement.
As long as you adorn the inner man, your mind, in God's laws, that you don't take what you look on the outside as being the most important thing, you will be a daughter of Sarah. Now watch this. I want to stay right here. Whose daughters ye are, as long as you do well and not afraid with any amazement. Meaning you're not ashamed to fall under the subjection of your husband. All right? Does everybody understand that? All right. Yeah.
Some women just hear that, fall under the subjection of their husband, and they cringe at that thing. It's a terrible thing to say this, but women in general think that it's more, the word feminine just don't come to their mind. Something about the word feminine, they don't understand that thing. Because what we're reading about with Sarah, some women will hear about how Sarah was with Abraham, and they'll be like, Sarah, she was stupid. She shouldn't have did that. She should have came in the room with combat boots on and threw the man up against the wall. They actually think that that's positive black woman type of spirit. That's crazy as hell. They don't realize that, like we used to talk about, the feminine wiles. These women should know how to deal with their husbands by being quiet and meek. That's a beautiful thing. But a lot of women have been brainwashed to the point where they actually think that something's wrong with that, like God got it wrong.
I want to say something real quick. And you notice the lengths, because I've never seen that video before. I never knew that their brains get fried by that stuff. But you see the lengths that the women would go to. The lengths they would go to put themselves in risk, to look beautiful. When the real beauty is the inner woman. That's the real beauty that we're looking for. Not that you don't want to attract. But what do women attribute attractiveness to? Found the white woman. Right. Proverbs 3:31. Yeah. They look to the white woman. They don't look to the black man, because they did. We want you to stay the way you are, the way God made you.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.